Let's go live to Melbourne now, and joining us is the former Labor Senator and Chelsea fan Stephen Conroy. Stephen, before we begin, I got some music for you to introduce you this morning. Have we got our music here? No. Here we go.
There it is. Warms the heart. Warms the heart.
Congratulations. How's the last couple of days been for you, Stephen, as a Chelsea fan winning the Champions League?
A blur. If I wasn't in lockdown, it would be a serious blur.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Lockdown, are you starting to go a little bit bonkers? It's the fourth time now, Stephen.
Yeah, look, the lockdown is tough, and if it was to be extended, it'll be a real blow to Victorians. I mean, the challenges we overcame last time, everyone is rightfully proud of, but being put in this position again, the health advice is it's needed. The sort of spread we're starting to see through aged cares is a real worry. People died last time. We can't afford for that. We've got to take the precautions the health experts advised to us.
Well, the interesting point that's being explored at the moment, Stephen, is that ban, that aged care workers were able to go and work at other facilities, but that ban was reinstated last week. But the government, or Richard Colbeck in particular, saying this morning that legally they can't stop people from going to work somewhere else to earn money. So what do you make of that?
Well, they should have been getting the vaccination into people's arms in this situation. It should have been the priority was obviously residents, but the second priority has got to be the actual workforce. And this is a government that has completely incompetently botched this rollout. And every day here in Melbourne, we now are living with the consequences of Scott Morrison's incompetence. I mean, the people who are putting themselves in the front line in these aged care centres, they know that they need to be vaccinated. And if they were relaxing the program, it should have been on the basis of you come back and you can work in multiple places after you've had your first vaccine. And then we'll get you, and they should be given the Pfizer one. The 3-month wait for the AZ makes this a tougher situation. They should have been putting Pfizer into the arms of the aged care workforce, because that can be done much quicker. They can achieve the full immunity that you're able to get, not 100%, but as close to 100 as you can get.
But I mean,
they should have been getting it, months ago.
That's part of the problem, though, isn't it? That you've got still residents, and I think it's about 15% of all aged care residents in Melbourne haven't given their consent to take the vaccine. So that is part of the problem as well.
Look, no question. We have to have an advertising. And where's the government's advertising campaign? I mean, Scotty from marketing is meant to be the expert marketer. And the thing that every medical expert, everybody in Australia walks around going is there an advertising campaign going on at the moment? You just can't tell. This should be blitzed. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when the AIDS pandemic hit or epidemic hit. And the advertising campaign was hard. It was all over TV and it was effective. And yet the Morrison government have been just slow out of the blocks. Yet again, they were slow to sign contracts for vaccines. They've been slow to get it into the country. They've been slow to get it into people's arms. They've been slow to alert people to the benefits of taking it. This is just incompetence multiplied by 3.
More broadly speaking, though, and from a business sense too, there has to be some blame that's taken up by the state government here, right? Because you've got the slow rollout of QR codes and contact tracing that many believe is questionable.
Look, last year, no question, you could say that the Victorian government were absolutely dropped the ball on contact tracing. I don't believe that's the case here. If you see the number of people that are currently in the isolation, it's thousands upon thousands of people. So the contact tracing system is work. I've been very critical of the Victorian government over contact tracing. I don't believe that you can actually blame them this time. I think people are using
Well, what about the poor take-up of QR codes? It's just not happening.
Yeah. Well, there isn't, it hasn't been a uniform QR code. And yes, the government should be criticised for that. But that is not what is causing the problem right now. And people are looking to try and blame the Andrews government as a complete deflection from the incompetence of the Morrison government. QR codes are now being rolled out. And there are thousands upon thousands of people in isolation because they've been contacted by the tracers and through the different QR codes. It's not like there's been no QR codes. It's just not been well coordinated. It's now well coordinated. This outbreak is entirely down to the Morrison government's unwillingness to do its job on vaccines and to build quarantine facilities.
But you have some businesses, though, that are still taking names and writing them down. I mean, that's poor, isn't it, this deep into the pandemic?
Absolutely. They should have introduced a QR code. And there are a number of ones that have been available, which is why the government have actually decided to just scrap all of that and put the one system in place similar to New South Wales. The QR codes are not have not caused this. The QR codes might slow you down a little bit in trying to resolve it, but this is down to a completely incompetent rollout of the vaccine and the government's refusal to build a quarantine facility fit for purpose all across the country. I mean, this came from South Australia. We had the one in New South Wales. We've had ones in Perth. We've had ones potentially in Queensland. This is all over the country that hotels were not built for this purpose.
Okay, that's a good point to make. Stephen Conroy, always good to chat. And
good to talk.
Reminding our viewers there, Chelsea, there they are, the European champions again.